Alright guys, so the first question I hear the most often for bench is, do I need to arch? Now, no, you don't. There are people like Brandon Campbell who are literally physically incapable of getting an arch in their back, and then there's people like Sean Noriega who like they're doing the exorcism. So, is it necessary? No. Why do people arch? So the reason why people arch is that if you look at the bench as a flat bench, when you have an arch in your back, preferably in your upper thoracic back, it's going to put you in a position where your shoulders are pulled back like this, and then your momentum's going backwards. Now what that's going to do is the arch is going to put your shoulders in a better position where they're locked in, which is not going to have your shoulders going like this when you're benching, and it's also not going to have them shrug up too much. So if you pull your shoulder blades in and then have them locked into the bench with an arch, that's going to keep your back tighter. It's also going to put your chest up, which is going to put your bench in a better position so that you're not going to have too much stress on your shoulders. Now, because when you have your shoulders up like this, it shortens the range of motion, and also it puts your shoulder in a position where you can pull your elbow in and then finish the bench. That's going to make it a little bit easier. The question number 2 that I get the most often personally is, Sean, what the hell is on your shoulders when you bench? This is a Donnie Thompson bow tie. I believe it's a size extra large. I feel like I'm a spokesperson for this thing because I do not stop talking about it. Essentially what it does, because I get this question, they're like, you look like an idiot, why are you benching with it, why do you walk around with it? What it essentially does is when you bench a lot, and a lot of guys will notice this if they are exclusively bench people, they get really tight right here. It's kind of that insertion point between the deltoid and the pec, and a lot of guys get tight there, and that's where a lot of the shoulder tears happen. What this does is that it pulls your shoulders back, and it has a little bit of compression here, kind of helps open up your chest. A lot of guys, when you see them, I kind of like to call them cavemen or Neanderthals. They're really big benchers, and they're always just, skulking around like this. Because they're just so tight and wound up and like this, and they just walk around with their hunched shoulders. That's not a great position to be in. Put your shoulder in a really rough position, that's how injuries happen. So what this does is it pulls your posture back, opens everything up, cues you to open it up as well. So that's why a lot of guys will actually do the workouts with it. It's not just something preventative that you do or post-workout rehab or prehab. I work out with it. All right, so next question I get sometimes is, why do you wear a belt on bench? Now this is actually something I've been moving away from, but just my reasoning for why I did in the past and why I know other people use it. Usually it's for bigger guys who use a belt on the bench. And the reason why that is because normally bigger guys don't have much of an arch, and sometimes the belt can hinder your ability to maintain or even achieve an arch. So I know guys like Sean Noriega have constantly talked about how smaller guys shouldn't be using a belt on bench because it really does stop them from being able to get into positions that they want to, especially if someone like him who has an arch that is just ridiculous. Bigger guys, someone who is maybe 250 and over, not gonna be able to get in a position where you're getting a huge arch. The bench or the belt will actually give you a little bit more stability. Obviously the same thing as squat and deadlift. It increases the amount of pressure you can put around the abdominal wall, which then gives you a little bit more stability, and some people think it gives them a little bit more push out of the bottom. I used to think that way, but then I realized from watching a ton of video that my arch was lessened by about a ½ inch to a full inch from my last warm-up set without the belt to my first set with the belt. Now that doesn't sound like a big deal, and maybe the trade-off is not really that unbalanced. Do I get more because of the belt versus how much more I would have with the arch, or vice versa? But I'm moving away from it and benching without a belt now, and so far so good. I am noticing a lot more consistency in my sets. I haven't noticed any real strength drop off, but time will tell. Alright, so this isn't something that people usually ask me, but I know I ask so many people in the beginning is, how do I get, faster off the chest? How do I get a faster lockout? How do I get more under control with the descent and the ascent? How do I get better at bench? Now, everyone's always looking for the answer of, hey, do some board presses, do some spoto presses, do some lockout work, do some holds, things like that. All those things have merit, all those things can help you increase your bench. But what people are really missing in all of those answers and everything is the answer that they don't want to hear. And that question can be answered by one simple statement. You're not strong enough. You are not strong enough to get past that sticking point, to get past that number, to get past that moment in your lifting career. You're not there. A lot of people have this delusional idea that, they're one little trick away from being able to move their bench from 275 to 315. They think that they're one little cue away from going from a standard lifter to elite. They don't understand the difference between them and someone like Dan Green or T. Cummins. And, what they don't realize is that those people are not only just the genetic elite, they work their ass off for it. I've been talking to T. Cummins since he was totaling sub 1500. I knew him when I thought he was a god for lifting 600 pounds in the deadlift. He's over 800 now. And how did he get there in the last 5-6 years? How is everyone knowing who the fuck he is? Because he fucking put his work into it. He didn't complain all the time, hey, my bench sucks. I'm stuck at a 325 bench. I can't get it over. I'm a 220, 242 lifter who has a sub 400 bench. I suck. No, he didn't say that. He put in the work, he listened, he learned, and he fucking grinded to get there. No one wants to do that anymore. People are always wondering like, hey, maybe if I use a slingshot for 2 sets a week, maybe I'll not have any more lockout issues. Hey, maybe you're just not fucking strong enough to finish that rep. Maybe you need to put in some more fucking work in general to get through that rep. I'm sorry I'm fucking ranting on this, but it's so irritating that people are just looking for the easy way out in things. You need to put in the work to get to that moment. You need to earn that moment. You need to deserve that moment. No one's gonna give it to you. It's not a needle in your ass. It's not a pat on the back. It's not a good job. It's looking in the fucking mirror and being like, hey, this is what I need to do to get better. It's time to do it. That's all, okay? That's how I'm closing this video. It sounds angry. I'm not upset. It's just, you have to want to be better. Not to impress other people, not to make a point to people. Make a point to yourself. You have to embrace the process to get somewhere, or else it's not gonna matter. I commonly hear people who are 10 years into this who are still trying to find their reason why. Oh, I like lifting, I'm trying to progress because, I just want to be like this guy, I want to be like that guy. The person you are now is probably someone who 5 years ago was like, wow, that's awesome. Go to Sean 5 years ago. I was like, wow, there's no way I'm going to bench 315. There's no way I'm going to pull 500. There's no way I'm going to squat 400. I'm not built like that. I'm never going to get there. I'll look at someone like me now and be like, wow, that guy has squatted over 500, he's pulled over 600, he's benched over 320. There's no way I could get there, but here I am. And people put these mental barriers on themselves, these limitations, being like, I can't get there. Surround yourself with more positive people who want to uplift you. Because if you stick in your little hole, your little corner, doubting yourself, you're never going to get there. So, this whole video has been about benching, but really, take any of these tips I've given you, translate it to any fucking lift and you'll get better. You have to want to get better. Nobody wants to fucking get better anymore.